welcome to the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for all the likes and the comments. We are moving forward closer to 1,000 followers and subscribers on the channel, and it means a lot, of course. I'd like to introduce you a new story. I just finished it last week. It's called Lost Orbit. I don't want to spoil it too much, but I think it's one of my favorite stories I've written so far. It's short, around 20 minutes or so. Please let me know. Let me know what you think. Leave a like. It means a lot. It means that I have to keep moving forward and writing more. And stop by a Twitch channel as well, Citizen Tigran. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
The silence here was complete. Just the sound of my breath inside of the helmet and soft glow from the Zeus's lights cutting through the dark. Dark in color was torn, but still able to accept the Zeus. I drifted above the dead landing pad, through the corridors, past twisted metal and debris, remnants of a life long gone, approaching an airlock. A sliver of sunlight pierced a tear in the hull, casting a ghostly glow across the corridor. I stopped, letting it wash over me, a fleeting warmth in the cold. The airlock access panel wasn't damaged, and with the station running on reserve emergency power, I managed to connect my computer. The screen flickered as it cycled through the preloaded access codes provided to me by the client. The job was supposed to be simple. Enter the abandoned station, reach the control room, purge all logs, then get out. Out here, drifting through this hollow shell, I felt the endless, indifferent weight of the universe pressing down. This place once held life. Markov Station had been undergoing repairs when it experienced a major meltdown. The core was still leaking radiation, even 10 days after the accident. The client wanted to keep it quiet until all data was wiped. Everyone's dead inside. No oxygen, no gravity, just death and radiation. His voice echoed in my head. It was dangerous, but I needed the credits. The airlock opened and I floated into the main corridor leading towards the medical deck. Activating my magnetic boots, I shifted into the upright position. It would drain the armor's power faster, but it helped fight the disorientation. The beam from my flashlight caught drifting fragments, bits of plastic, debris, medical wrappers. My heart rate spiked as I approached the med unit. I drew my pistol. An arclight, standard issue energy weapon. Steps were slow and deliberate as I moved into the main room. I stopped in the center and scanned the space. Medical equipment floated alongside the shattered furniture. A large hole yawned in the ceiling above. What was left of the ventilation system had been torn apart, metal panels twisted by force. I stared at the destruction, confused. The medical bay was located far from a reactor core. This didn't make sense. It looked like something had struck from the outside. A large piece of shrapnel or projectile maybe. I pulled out the station schematics and let my computer build a route forward. Now, deep within the internals of the man-built beast, I followed the corridors. Veins leading me towards the heart of the station. Only 10 days ago it had been beaten, filling the place with life. Markov Station was a research facility in orbit around Oritani 2. A vast ocean world in the Aritani system. Typically, around 50 people lived and worked here. Half of them, scientists, collecting samples from the planet's surface. The rest keeping the station running. Shuttle crews, engineers, administrators. They maintained the flow of life between surface, orbit, and the occasional long-range supply craft from the outer systems. Station had large mezzanine level with professional cooks working full kitchens. It was essential. Freshly cooked meals help preserve morale during long contracts in space, some stretching years. From freshly baked sourdough to slow-cooked goulashes, and a bar serving cold pints of Tarantula Tangerine IPA from Microtech or Starlight Lager from Hurston. It was a piece of comfort in the void. Now it was cold, lifeless, still rotating in silence around the planet below. Alone, I moved forward one step at a time, heading toward the operations room. The darkness was broken only by rare flickers of emergency lights, casting shifting shadows that danced across the empty hallways. I turned right, following the route my system laid out. Then I looked up. A wave of cold gripped me. A face floated in front of me, frozen in time, twisted in a silent scream of anger and pain. I stumbled backward, magnetic boots scraping against the deck, and something brushed my shoulder. Another face. A woman, late 20s maybe. Beautiful, her expression wasn't fear, but something close to peace. Acceptance. Her golden hair drifted around her face like solar flares, suspended and glowing in the beam of my light. She looked almost ethereal, like a golden phoenix frozen in ice. The image imprinted deep into my skull. I shook it off and pressed forward. Glancing down the bottom right corner of my helmet's HUD displayed 75% power and just over 2 hours of oxygen remaining. 2 bodies now. 2 of the 8 technicians who had stayed behind, trying to fix the growing malfunctions before everything failed. About a month ago, Markov Station experienced a sudden and unexplained loss of power. The nuclear reactor shut down for 26 minutes. Life support system automatically switched to battery backup, exactly what they were designed to do. With large sections of the station covered in solar panels, it continued to rotate along its axis, maintaining artificial gravity. Then, without warning, power surged back online. A massive energy spike swept through the station, frying internal systems and causing severe structural damage. Decision was made to evacuate all non-essential personnel. Only the repair crew stayed behind. 8 of them. Ellie and Cooper were 2 of those. Their bodies now floated silently in the corridor behind me. I pushed forward, a growing sense of claustrophobia crawling over me, like the walls were drawing closer with each step. The deeper I moved through the station, the more I began to notice its age. Markov had been here for centuries. For over 300 years, humanity had traveled to Arytania and back, always looking to terraform, to expand, to control, to extract. Passing an old escape pod, a large silver panel caught my eye, embossed in golden letters with platinum outline. Arc Corp 2631. There it was, the signature of those who clawed their way out to the edge of known space. Stanton's Arc Corp. And now I understood who my employer really was. Confusion set in, followed by a surge of questions. Why the secrecy? They had contacted me through an anonymous message. No insignia, no trace, just a name, a payment, and a job. Something wasn't right. My suit registered rising radiation levels. I was getting closer to the core. Minutes later, I stood before a massive airlock door, partially open. Beyond it, the control room. The destruction inside was overwhelming. Being so close to the core, it had taken the brunt of the damage. Floor panels were torn away, revealing shattered heating pipes, twisted air vents, and shredded electrical cabling. Debris floated around me, and with it, 4 more forgotten members of the repair crew. One of the bodies was missing its legs. Frozen droplets of blood drifted in the air, suspended in the chaos. I took a deep breath and moved toward the main panel. My gloved fingers touched the controls, entering the access code provided by the client. The system responded instantly. My mission was clear: wipe all the station logs. make it look like everything had been destroyed in the accident. But curiosity got better of me. "Let me take a peek," I said aloud. "See what actually happened here." Stillness. I stood there staring at the screen until a low, distant thump echoed through the station. Metal striking metal, like something had hit the hull. I froze. Silence returned. Running a system scan, I was surprised to find most systems showing green. The main reactor was gone, completely destroyed, but humanity always builds in layers of redundancy. And the big R was built in the system. I had backup power. I tapped the screen. Systems began rebooting. 10 minutes, give or take. First, a blast shield slid over the gaping hole in the control room window. Sections that sustained damage disconnected from the grid, and their airlocks sealed. One of the monitors showed the Cutlass black docked in a hangar. They had a ship, but they couldn't use it. The thought unsettled me. I imagined their final moments, radiation flooding the holes, hope within reach, but just out of grasp. My suit, military grade, kept me alive in spaceborne Chernobyl. Lights flickered to life, bright, blinding. Gravity slowly returned as the station resumed its slow spin. Debris and bodies dropped to the floor with a sickening thud. Oxygen systems were green. The control room was stable, but I didn't activate it. Radiation levels were still too high. I did my job. Logs erased, but not before copying them to my own drive. Something gnawed at me. A presence. A feeling of being watched. Then another thump. And another. Then another. Louder now. Rhythmic. Urgent. Like someone pounding with everything they had. Hair rose on the back of my neck. Eyes locked on the screen. A quick scan. I froze. A section of the ship beneath the core showed movement. A life form. A human. Without hesitation, I rushed towards the elevator shaft and climbed the ladder 2 levels down. The sounds grew louder. I reached the sealed chamber, a containment hub used in emergencies. Leaning toward the airlock, I called out, "Is anyone there?" Seconds passed. The voice, weak, trembling, female. "Please help. If you open the airlock, the radiation will kill me within the minutes. My partner? He passed away 2 days ago." "Okay," I said quickly, trying to stay calm. "I have a radiation suit in my ship. Hold on." I ran through the corridors towards the docking collar, heading for the Zeus. My Zeus MR, designed for bounty hunting. It had containment cells that could keep someone alive by lowering their into medical-induced coma for up to 48 hours. Just enough time to reach a system with proper medical facilities. Minutes later, I was floating around my ship, getting things I needed from the cargo bay. My suit fired jets from my boots, shoulders, and back, guiding me alone. I looked back and saw her. Markov. The station bathed in the warm sunlight, flickering like a dying star, spinning in a slow rotation. Its lights blinked in distress, performing one last dance around its axis. We all knew it, and she knew it too. The station. A final period before taking her last breath. Maybe one day, the corporations would send drones to tear her apart. But I doubt it. Every meter of the station was soaked in radiation. More likely, she'd be left to drift, abandoned, forgotten, a ghost in orbit. I reached the airlock and called out, loud as I could. "Get ready, we have to move quickly. You'll have a couple minutes to get into the radiation suit." Her voice came back, shaky but focused. Give me a minute. I've got my work suit on. I'll be ready in a few. Her suit was a reinforced version of a standard flight model, an industrial design with a backpack power cell and a ports for connecting the repair tools. It was the only reason she was still alive. It offered some protection from radiation, but nowhere near what the latest military suits could handle. Time was running out. The first set of airlock doors opened. I stepped into the small chamber. The door sealed behind me, the room pressurized, filling with oxygen. Seconds later, the inner doors slid open. What I saw froze me in place. She stood in the center of the room, skin stretched over bone, barely alive. Her brunette hair was nearly all gone. All her once beautiful brown eyes were sunk deep into her sockets. A single tear ran on her cheek. I felt my own throat tighten. Radiation is merciless. It breaks everything down, her DNA, her bones, her blood. I'm Lyra Sen, engineer. There's no time. Later. I cut her off, voice sharp from urgency. I set the radiation suit down in front of her, careful not to touch her. My own armor pulsed faintly, glowing with absorbed radiation. I was killing her just by being near. I stepped aside, giving her space. She struggled to put the heavy armor suit on, each movement slow and painful. I began to wonder if she would even be able to walk at all. The room was small, barely more than a survival pod. A metal table at the center, a couch in the corner, on it, final repair tech. The last of 8, all accounted for, all dead except one. In the corner, I spotted a long metal pipe. That was the sound. Thump, thump, thump. Like a heartbeat. She had been banded against the wall, refusing to give up. I'm ready, she whispered, barely audible, standing near the airlock, clutching the helmet. I stepped up beside her and pulled a med pen from my hip, a cocktail of low-dose adrenaline, painkillers and stabilizers. Risky. I injected it into her base of her neck, just under the collar. We both knew what could happen. Her heart might not take it, but there was no other option. Room was offering some radiation protection, but at this moment everything was saturated with it. Invisible killer. She locked her helmet in place. We moved. I set the station for full deactivation. In 30 minutes, Markov would perform its last orbit. Then, fall silent. Systems offline, airlock sealed, batteries drained. A tomb, drifting in space. I'm Nico, I said quietly. Nice to meet you, Lyra. She looked at me through the helmet visor. They knew, she said. Our corp knew the core was unstable. They left us behind anyway. Told us to try to fix it, to delete the logs, cover their experiments. But they knew core is done. They sent us to die. They killed us. You're going to make it. You will tell the story yourself. Expose the lies. I downloaded the data. She looked at me as we turned into the long corridor, moving slowly. I was sent here to bury the truth, I said quietly. To erase the logs, to make sure Markov and the team disappeared. Gravity began to fade again, which was good. I grabbed her suit and pulled gently, dragging her behind me. My boot touched the ramp of the Zeus. We were home. The ramp sealed behind us as we passed through the contamination chamber, scrubbing the radiation from the surface of our suits. I knelt beside Lyra, She had lost consciousness. Reaching out, I touched her neck. There was a pulse, but faint. Carefully, I removed the radiation suit and eased her into the cryo chamber. The Zeus MR was built for bounty hunting. In this moment, it became something else. Her last chance. I rose and made my way to the cockpit. Strapping in, I noticed a single strand of brunette hair caught on my sleeve. I brushed it away. Fingers moved on instinct. Switches flipped. Engines rumbled. The ship awakened. Then, alarms. Target lock. 2 torpedoes inbound. I punched the throttle and banged hard. Flares launching behind us in bright bursts. The Zeus shook as it rolled left. G-forces clawing at my body. Vision dimming. Now it was personal. Our corp made it so. Using station's ring, I slipped behind cover. Both torpedoes struck the station, blinding light, fire, debris. Level 9s, I thought. Radar was clear. Whoever fired, stealth class. But they missed. I dropped the shields and spun up the jump drive. Another torpedo streaked through the space, but it was too late. We jumped. Exhausted, I walked the quiet halls of my ship. In the cargo bay, I knelt by the cryo chamber watching over her. 17 hours of travel ahead of us to the closest human colonized system. I closed my eyes. I heard something in the stillness, far, faint, and powerful.